Right, welcome back to the channel, folks. One of my subscribers has asked me to do a quick overview of some basic components, what they are and how we test them. So what I've done is I've got three basic components on the bench here. The first one I've got is a electrolytic capacitor, a transistor and a resistor. So the first one we'll look at is the electrolytic capacitor. So basically a capacitor, if you think about it as kind of like a battery where it stores energy, but what it does is it releases that energy at a controlled rate. So these can be used to smooth the amount of current that's going through a circuit. So it can take a load of current in at one side and it can trickle it out via the other side at a controlled and measured rate. So these capacitors have got various different values depending on the application. So we can test them with the multimeter, which is quite rudimentary. But what I like to use, but it's by no means high-end kit, is just a basic multifunction tester. So basically what we do is we place the legs of the capacitor into the tester and close it over. This capacitor is a 47 microfarad capacitor. So what I'm looking for when the test is complete is a reading of 47 microfarad or somewhere very, very close to that. So we'll hit the test button. And there we have it. So we've got 47 microfarad and we've got an ESR of 1.4 ohms. So that number there is quite important as well. So if that resistance is really high, then that can indicate that there's a problem with the resistor. So it should be kind of in that ballpark. So that's a good capacitor, and it will shut down itself after a while. So that's basically your capacitor. The next item I've got is a transistor. So think of a transistor as a kind of like a gate. So if you've got voltage applied to one leg, then that'll open the gate and it'll allow current to pass between the through the transistor. So you've got two types of transistor. You've got NPN and PNP. This one's a PNP transistor. So basically I'm passing current from here to here, but it'll only allow that if it sees something here. So to test this transistor, you switch your multimeter to diode mode, and on this multimeter, which again is by no means high end, there's three different modes on this switch here. So I'll press this one till I get to diode mode. So that's diode mode. So basically what I'm looking for is if I apply some voltage to that leg, I should see a voltage drop or a voltage appear on this leg. So these transistors, it should be about between 0.6 and 0.8. So if I touch these two together, if I can get it to stay, we've got 0.726. So that's working. So if I then do the same from this side, I should get the same result, which is fine. So now if I swap the polarity and I apply the voltage from this leg, I shouldn't see anything at all. There's no reading. So if I do it from this leg, again, there's no reading. If I change it over and apply a current from the base, I should see the voltage drop again. So that tells me that the gate's opening and closing properly, as it should. And I'll just quickly check from that side as well. And there you go. So that transistor's working. That's a good transistor. So that's basically what a transistor is. The next thing we've got is just a common resistor. So there's a load of coloured bands on these, and you can go online and you can put into various websites and applications. You can put in the colour bands and it'll tell you what the value of that resistor is in ohms. So this one here, I think this one's a 270 ohm resistor. So on this multimeter, that's for resistance mode there. So if I press that button, we get resistance. So the job of a resistor is basically, well, the name's fairly self-explanatory. It acts as a kind of choke or a resistor to inhibit the flow of current on a circuit. These can be used for dropping voltages and stuff like that. So basically, to test this, there's no polarity. We don't need to, there's no specific way we need to put the leads on. All we need to do is pass a current across it, and it's given us a reading of 269.9, 270 ohms. So that resistor is bang on the money. And that's what that does. So I hope that was helpful, and it'll give you some way of kind of getting your head around why we test some of the things that we test and why we're testing them. I'll just switch that off. So I hope you found that informative, and if you did, it would be great if you could give us a like and a subscription if you're that way inclined.